He is a motivational speaker, interview expert, and a psychology counselor. He has trained more than 78,000 people in the area of soft skills and communication. He has conducted more than 350 personality development workshops in different colleges across Maharashtra. And he has delivered over 250 public talks on various topics. Hats off to you, sir. Listening to your, looking at your profile, it feels like, that's great. That's quite appreciable. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome to Universal High School, Aurangabad, virtually, I must say. And this virtual interaction, which we have started since last 1 year, the classes were going on. But we thought that we need to have virtual interaction with famous personalities from different fields. And that's why we started with this In Conversation With, wherein we invite the people from different fields so that the children get inspired and they learn from your journey. So good to have you over here. And let me present my screen. It's nice to have. So children, I think we can give a big round of applause to Parvez, sir, first of all. Yes, that's like good children.
Thank you so much, everyone.
And,
good afternoon.
And Parvez, sir, we have class 1 to 10 standard students along with the teachers over here to welcome you, and they are eagerly waiting to listen to you, I must say.
Definitely.
So let me start with the presentation. Yes, yes, Swaraj, you can start with welcoming, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the In Conversation session. I'm glad to welcome our guest, Mr. Parvez Khan. He is a renowned life skill coach. He is also a soft skill expert. We all are happy to have him today with us and would like to know more about him. I request our principal ma'am to introduce sir and tell us more about him. Thank you and welcome, sir.
Thank you, Swaraj. Very well said. As you told, sir is a renowned, soft skill personality in Aurangabad, and we thought that this is the right platform to invite sir in this In Conversation With, where we can learn from him. And I would like to introduce him to you all. Is a life skills coach with training in soft skills, mind programming, effective communication skills, etc. He's a motivational speaker, interview expert, and a psychology counselor. He has trained more than 78,000 people in the area of soft skills and communication. He has conducted more than 350 personality development workshops in different colleges across Maharashtra. And he has delivered over 250 public talks on various topics. Hats off to you, sir. Listening to your, looking at your profile, it feels like, that's great. That's quite appreciable. Sir has conducted Train the Trainers program, wherein he trains those trainers who go ahead and train the other people. Besides that, he has been conducting programs related to personality development, leadership programs, wherein he trains leaders as well to how to lead the team. Besides that, he prepares students for the group discussion and interviews. The reason being, you may be very good academically, but when it comes to, attending the interviews and, participation in the group discussion, you require specific skills. And Parvez sir is an expert in that. And today he will be, telling us a little more about his journey, his childhood to start with, how he got into teaching, and then how he got into the life skill part. And then later on, I'll be requesting him to go ahead and give us the details about why you need the key life skills and the soft skills specifically, and the netiquettes. The reason being, we are meeting virtually, so we all need to know the netiquettes, right? And that's why today we have Parvez sir with us. And without taking any more time, Parvez sir, the platform is all yours. Please.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. So first of all, I would like to thank Principal ma'am, Rutuja ma'am, and the whole school management for inviting me to interact with the students. Because interacting with the student is my passion. I made it my profession later.
Right.
First, it was my passion, because being in other professions. I worked in sales. I worked in marketing also.
Okay,
Whenever I got chance, I interacted with students in their schools, in their colleges also.
right.
So if I shall I continue, ma'am?
Yes, sure, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, as ma'am said, I should start from my childhood. So, it will be very interesting to share my journey. Uh, though the time will not be sufficient, but I will just highlight the important points so that a student can take a lesson from my life. Because see, we learn from each other. We learn from each other. Our
Right.
lives are very inspiring.
Hmm.
If I interact with you for a few more minutes, I may learn from you also. I can learn from students also. I can learn from
Right.
teachers also. So it is obvious that we learn from each other, because
Right, sir.
you know what happened most of the time, we read many books, but
Right.
what we read in the books, we don't remember, and we find it very difficult to apply also sometimes. But when
Right.
we listen from someone else's life, then we relate to it, and we think that if this person can do, I can also do it. If it
Exactly.
is possible for one person, it is possible for anyone. So
I agree.
I'll share my life journey. As I was born in Mumbai actually, and due to our family business, it was not possible there. So my father got shifted to Aurangabad
Hmm.
when I was just 5 6 year old.
Right.
And my father operated his business from Aurangabad, and unfortunately what happened, at the age of 6 only, my father passed away.
Oh,
And
sad.
it was a really very great setback for me, and
I'm
my financial condition was also not good. So somehow my mother managed to bring up and to provide the education. I
right.
took education from nearby school, and the school was like, it was government aided, and means much facilities were not available there. As you are studying in one of the most reputed school in Aurangabad, Universal School is the most reputed school in the town. But unfortunately, I did not get such a school. I I wish if I had such a school,
Right.
so I would have done something more greater,
Much
something
better.
much
Yes.
better. I would have done much better.
Right.
So I
Right.
congratulate you, children, that you got a very good school. You have a school with lot of facilities, and your school is arranging such kind of program. So I must appreciate the efforts of school also. So I completed my schooling from such a school which is nearby to my home. Somehow I completed my education, and as there was no source of income for my family, so after immediately completing my 10th standard, I started working in factory
Okay.
to support my family. But
Right.
as I was inclined toward education, so I continued my education. Somehow I completed my 11th 12th. And one thing I faced a lot, because my I was not good at English communication, so I found it very difficult to survive in college. I could only manage reading, and I could
Okay.
write it in examinations. But when I started to interact with other students and teachers and principal, I was not able to speak a single statement from my own means from my heart, and I was
Right.
not able to communicate in English. Then I
I'm
joined some private coaching classes. I struggle a lot. I joined many other training centers. Somehow I improved my communication skill, and as long as I got higher education, so I started working with more reputed companies. I worked in sales. I worked in marketing. So I used to visit all the industrial areas in Aurangabad city. You know, we
okay.
have in Aurangabad, Waluj MIDC, Chikaltana MIDC, Shendra MIDC, Chitegaon MIDC.
Hmm.
My profile was to visit all the companies and to convince the purchase officers to purchase our product. That
Right.
time I was working with Godrej. You know, I was working with Godrej. So I worked with Godrej, Samsung, Nokia, and I worked in share market also. In this way, I spent my 10 years in corporate. When I improved my skills, when I realized that whatever we have learned from the industry, I should share with the student, then I left my very comfortable job. My last job was in Nokia. I was there as a cluster store manager, and many people were working under me. I did not have any work. So I left that job. My boss asked me, Parvez, what is wrong with you? Why are you leaving this job? You are very comfortable in this job. You are sitting in an AC cabin. The 50 people are working under you. You don't need to go anywhere. Then why are you leaving this job? Then my reply was somewhere motivated by one statement. What I told my boss, I told, sir, this comfort is the problem.
Very true. I agree, sir. I agree. When you are in a comfort zone, you don't put in your 100%, right? So
Yes.
I think we need to move out of that comfort zone.
Actually, what happened before joining Nokia, I used to run a lot. Means every day I used to travel 80-90 kilometers on bike only to visit one
Okay.
company to another company. I used to interact with many people. But when I joined Nokia, so I got stuck at one place only, though my salary was very good and I was enjoying that comfort. So I told my boss that this comfort is the problem. I don't want to sit at one place. I just want to keep running. He said, why? I didn't give the exact statement which motivated me. The statement was, somewhere I read the statement.
Yes.
That statement says, every single drop of sweat at young age will reduce your tears at old age.
Well said.
This was the quotation which really encouraged me to leave that job. And I left that job, and then I started teaching. Teaching was not my profession. I was not trained for teaching. I did not have the educational background of teaching also. I completed my graduation from BCom. After that, I completed my MBA in marketing. And after doing BCom and MBA, who teaches?
Correct. Correct.
Teachers require B.Ed, B.Ed, and
B.Ed. Exactly.
Then I started teaching in private coaching classes. I taught in schools also. Then people asked me about my educational qualification. After that, I completed my MA in English. Then I completed my B.Ed. Then I completed my psychology counseling certification course from BAMU University also. And I started teaching. And recently I taught in many colleges also, like in PS Engineering College. And at present, I am conducting lectures in YB Chavan College of Pharmacy, which is one of the most reputed college in pharmacy in state.
Yeah, I saw your profile. So it was like, you went for various degrees, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, whenever I got the chance, I got certified myself. And I am a psychology counselor also. I am a behavioral therapist also. These courses also I completed. And at present, now come to the current period, I am conducting lectures in a college, and more than 70 colleges I have conducted my workshop. The number increased. It is more than 500 workshop, and the number of candidates are more than 1 lakh. More than 1 lakh people have been trained by me in different domains, not only soft skill, but for behavior change, for employability skills, communication skill. So it was all about my journey, which I have.
You have widened your horizon, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's not only soft skill, it's not only English speaking, it's also psychology, it's also leadership training. And that, I think, enables you to be everywhere, isn't it?
Yes. And I have practical knowledge actually. As I said, I spent 10 years in corporate. So when I teach my students, so first of all, I make it clear that whatever I am teaching you, it is not only from the books, it is out of my experiences.
Right.
So I will let you know, because I have been to those places. I will let you know that what are the do's and don'ts of industries, what is the requirement of industry. So be ready, because where you are going, I have already been to that particular industry.
Exactly.
So this is my journey, which I have shared with you. I hope it will inspire the students.
Yes, of course. I think, see, at times we feel very sad because we are not up to the mark. But the thing is, we need to take it as a challenge. And like listening to your journey, we understood like you took it as a challenge. And today you are the one who is who is training the others to speak English.
Yes, of course.
Like you said that you had a problem
Yeah, I had.
speaking in English and conversing in English, but today you are training. So that's what actually matters at the end of the day. That whatever you are weak at, I think you need to work on it, and you should master it, and you should train the others so that the others don't face the same problem. Isn't it, sir?
I must share my weakness of public speaking also.
Huh.
Throughout my school time and my college time, I never ever participated in any public speaking activity. I was so scared of stage.
And you are training the others now.
And now the situation is that at current moment, I am on stage for almost 8 to 9 hours, and I interact
Okay.
with 200 people, because
Great.
in our some of the training programs we have a strength of 200 students sitting before me, and all are graduate students. Some are
Perfect.
postgraduates also, and I trained them for continuously for 8 hours with just 30 minutes lunch break, and that is also in English. So once my fear, it was my fear which turned to be my strength.
I know. I understand, sir. The thing is, you need to work on your weakness. First of all, we need to identify what is your weakness. And once you're aware of your weakness, I think you need to work on it. Like normally the children say that, ma'am, we have stage fear. Fine, it's a stage fear. But the thing is, if you keep on going on the stage again and again, I think that stage fear will run away. You'll not have that stage fear, and you'll be the confident person speaking on the stage. Isn't it?
Definitely, yes.
That was a nice journey, sir, and that's a great insight into your journey, I must say. I would like you to share with our students the soft skills, why they are important, first of all. And no doubt, when we are meeting physically, we are a bit more alert. But when it comes to the virtual thing, how they have to be alert at that point also. So I want you to work on, share with us on two things. One thing, why soft skill is important, how it enables you to be much better than the other person, and what are the soft skills they need to work on at this point of time. And second thing, the netiquettes. Please, sir.
Definitely. Thank you, ma'am. So, as I have been training people for soft skill development. So let me tell you one thing, first of all, there are two types of skills. Okay, because you know what happened, sometimes we are learning only one type of skills, and we are very satisfied that I'm developing, and I'm gaining knowledge about something. But we never observe that what type of skills I am developing. So basically, the skills are divided into two major parts. One is hard skill, and second is soft skill. Okay. So I'll tell you what is the difference between hard skill and soft skill. Hard skill is what we learn through a course from an institute in a specific period of time. For example, passing 10 standard, passing any standard, 8 standard, 9 or 10 standard, is part of hard skill. Because how will you pass your 10 standard if you study this syllabus and if you write properly in your examination, then you will get the certificate of SSC passed candidate. Okay, so that is your hard skill. If you want to learn how to operate the computer, so you join MSCIT classes, okay, and you continue that course for 3 months and 4 months. After completing 3-4 month course, you get a certificate. And now you have a skill of operating computer. Okay, now you can call yourself that IT literate, IT literate person. If you want to run a particular software, okay, for example, if you want to run that Tally software, so you can join Tally classes, and after 4-5 months you can call yourself certified in Tally. So these are the hard skills. Okay, these are called hard skills. Okay, for example, driving a car is also a hard skill. If you join a driving classes, so in 1 or 2 months you can call yourself a professional driver. Okay, so
Exactly.
these are the hard skills which we learn from an institute in a specific period of time. Okay, and it can be shown on a piece of paper also. For example, if you call yourself a driver, so it is enough to show your driving license and people will accept that you are a driver.
Exactly.
Okay, but soft skill, what are the soft skills?
Hmm.
So first, let me tell you what are the soft skills. For example, communication skill.
Hmm.
Communication is a soft skill.
Hmm.
Again, rational thinking
Hmm.
is a soft skill. Developing confidence is a soft skill.
Hmm.
Now, let me know, can you show these skills on a piece of paper?
No.
Can
Difficult.
you
Not
claim
at all.
that I am a confident person and this is my certificate?
Not possible.
Nobody can show confidence on a piece of paper that, sir, I am
Right.
confident,
Exactly.
you should hire me, you should appreciate me because this is my certificate of confidence.
Right.
Of course not. Okay, the same way communication, for example, I run spoken English classes also. So some people come to me and very first day they ask, sir, will you issue the certificate? As I run communication classes, so
Right.
people very first day they ask, sir, will you issue us certificate after completing the 3 months course? I say, no, I will not issue you certificate after completing the 3 months of course. Today I can issue you certificate.
They're more interested in the certificate,
They are more interested
isn't
in
it?
certificate. So
Hmm.
what I tell them, I will issue you certificate without joining the class. Only you should pay 10 rupees because it takes 10 rupees to print the certificate.
Exactly.
Then these people they get surprised, sir, how can you issue certificate without course? I said, this course does not require this
Yes, a certification.
It requires demonstration.
Very true.
Because if you go to interview and if an interviewer asks you questions in English, what will you do? Will you show him your certificate? Sir, don't.
I'm an expert in
I am
speaking.
accepting in English. Don't judge me wrong, sir. You don't think that I am not good at English. I am good at English. See, this is my certificate. Can you prove this? Of course not. In just 1 minute, he will throw you out of the cabin.
Very true.
If you don't answer in English. So
Yes.
what is the certificate? Certificate is that when someone asks you question in English, if you are able to answer in English, that is your certificate. So the same is with confidence, with communication, with leadership, decision making. These are the soft skills, and these soft skills can be developed only.
Yes.
Okay, for these courses, for this learning, you can join some courses also, but again, there is no fixed duration.
Exactly.
There is no guarantee that you will be confident in 2 months and 3 months unless you apply it, unless you practice it, unless you develop it.
Very true.
Nobody can guarantee you that you will develop the confidence. Okay, again, you cannot show it on a piece of paper.
Right.
Another thing, your certificate, for example, your driving license, if your driving license is misplaced, then it will be difficult for you to prove that you are a professional driver.
Exactly.
Okay, if your MSCIT certificate is misplaced, then it will be difficult for you to prove that you are good at computer.
Exactly.
But for communication, confidence, leadership, and rational thinking, you don't need certificate. You need to prove it only.
Prove. Yes.
Okay, and you don't need to show the certificate, just prove it. If you are good at communication, speak. If you are good at rational thinking, give some rational ideas. If you are good at leadership, show the
that.
people,
Lead the people.
how to lead the people, just prove it. So this is the difference between hard skill and soft skill. Okay,
Very well explained the difference between the hard skill and soft skill.
Because what happened, most of the time, not only children but the parents also, they think that our children are learning.
Yes.
What are they learning?
Exactly.
And it is not only with India, it is with US also, the most advanced country in the world, America also. They also pay 85% importance to only the theoretical knowledge, and only 15% they pay attention toward these soft skills and all.
I think this 15% is more important than the 85%.
I'll tell you why. Because I'll share one report of HR.
Yes.
HR unions,
Right.
all over India, there is a association of HR managers, those who recruit the people. So their report says that when the candidates come to us, so out of 10 questions, out of 10 questions, only 3 questions we ask them according to our field.
Right.
But 7 questions we don't ask them according to our profession. We ask them general questions. Why? Because what they say, for example, if there is an interview for banking industry, okay, if there is an interview of a bank, so and there are 50 candidates, those who come for interview. So these HR manager know that these all 50 are good at banking knowledge.
Exactly.
So why to waste the time to ask them about banking knowledge? They all are good at banking. So what they do, they ask only 3 questions out of 10 about bank, and they ask 7 questions about their own life.
Very true.
What is your future plan? How was your past? What do you think about yourself? And they ask some conditional questions also. So what is this? The requirement is that they want to check your personality. They don't want to check your knowledge.
Exactly.
And already there is a Google. Google gives a lot of knowledge.
I know. I do agree with you, because the theoretical knowledge, everybody will have more or less the same when it comes to, and the thing is, they have already appeared for the exam and they have got a certificate. The thing is the soft skills, which is more important.
Of course. Okay, now I'll go ahead. Okay.
Yes.
These are the soft skills which need to be developed. Now, why soft skills should be developed? Because you know, as a student, we learn many subjects. We have science, we have mathematics, we have history, geography, we have Hindi, Marathi, many subjects we have. Okay, but believe me, the soft skill subjects remains with you forever till your last breath. So soft skill is for life only. Other subjects are for passing some examination. Other subjects are for getting a job. Other subjects are to start a business. But soft skill, for example, communication, you have to communicate as long as you are alive. You have to think rationally as long as you are able to think. You have to improve your interpersonal skills as long as you are living in society. Do we leave the society once we complete our education? Of course not. Even after completing education, we enter in the society.
Exactly.
We work in a company, we deal with the customers. So these are the soft skills, that communication, decision making, interpersonal skills, intrapersonal skills, and goal setting. These are the soft skills which are for life. These skills are not for a particular examination. This is for our life, and it will not only help you in your profession, but it will help you to make your personal life happy. It will make your social life more satisfied. So these soft skills are for life, and you can carry it anywhere. And you don't have any means you are not scared of these skills to be stolen. Nobody can steal your skills. People can steal your certificates.
Very true.
Your certificates can be misplaced, but your skills remain with you wherever you go. So these are the importance of soft skill. Now I'll come to the main point of the soft skill, because there are many soft skills. And each and every soft skill take means at least 2 hours to explain. But now I will come to the main point of the soft skills, how to develop any skill, whether it is a soft skill or a hard skill. The base of learning anything is our attitude. Attitude. What type of attitude we have will decide our learning. Okay, for example, if I tell someone that you are very weak in communication, so there are 2 types of people. They will respond in different manner. Reality is that they both are weak in communication. For example, if I say someone that your English is very weak, yaar. So one person will say, okay, is it really my English is weak? So please suggest me what can I do to improve it. This is the one person. He will respond. Okay. Another person, if I say him, your English is very weak, yaar, then he may answer like, I know it is weak. Then what can I do? There are many people, their English is also weak.
Hmm.
What do you see? What is the difference between these two people?
One is trying to take it very positively and wants to improve upon. The other one doesn't want to and has accepted it as it is.
So this is called the acceptance. The first person took it with a positive, or we can say active acceptance,
Right.
and the other person, he also accepted. He didn't say that no, you are wrong, my English is very, he didn't say like that. He said, yes, I know my English
But
is
he's
very-"
okay with it.
He said that it's okay, there are many people, they don't speak English. Someone is there, means one of my friend is from Punjab. I told him that your English is very weak here, you can't speak English. So he said that even they can't speak Punjabi, then what is wrong? So this is called acceptance. Okay,
Right.
so what, for learning we need to have active acceptance, not passive acceptance. Okay,
Very true.
because once I accept, I understand myself. When I understand myself, so I categorize my skills, what I have and what I need to improve. Okay, so we make a column. Okay, we make two columns where we mention this is my strong area and this is the area where I want to improve. Okay, so if we want to learn new skills, we need to develop such attitude. Okay, now in attitude, what happens? There are many people, those who learn very faster, and there are some they learn slowly. So it is only because of only attitude. Attitude, first of all, I'll tell you that there are some people, those who misrepresented the word attitude. Okay, means some people think that attitude means that arrogance, overconfidence. No, attitude itself is a neutral word. It is a neutral word. Attitude itself is a neutral word. It can be associated with arrogance. It can be associated with cooperation. We can say, like, if someone is there, so that person's attitude is arrogant attitude, overconfident attitude, or someone is very familiar, so we can say friendly attitude.
Very true.
We can say that cooperative attitude. So attitude itself is a neutral word. Okay, along with it we can add some other adjectives like cooperative attitude and arrogant attitude or selfish attitude. Now, how attitude is developed? So it all starts from our own thinking. What do I think? Okay, what do I think about myself? What do I think about others? And what do I think about a particular situation? It decides my attitude. Okay, so what happened, for learning any skill, we find it very difficult. In initial phase, we find it very difficult to learn anything. Why? Because there are many things in our back of the mind which always scares us, that it is difficult, it is not possible, you have tried a lot, your friends also tried but they couldn't do it, how can you do it? So these things run in our mind. So what we need to do to develop a rational attitude, we need to evaluate right. And what to evaluate? Three things we need to evaluate right, because when I evaluate right, I generate right emotions and I take right action. When I evaluate wrong, I develop wrong emotions and I take wrong actions. Okay,
Exactly.
for example, take the example of those two people. One is ready to learn English, another is not ready to learn English. So why their evaluation about, for example, the first person's evaluation about one is that yes, I am not good at English. Okay, but if I try, I can improve. And his evaluation about others, like, if he can speak English, if she can speak English, I can also speak English.
Very true.
This is the evaluation about others. Okay, he is accepting that those people are better than me, but he is not making them Superman. He's not making them the angels. Okay, he's considering them, I am also a human being, they are also human being. And the third evaluation about situation. What is the situation? Learning a language. Okay, learning a language is a process, and if we spend enough time, if we learn some tips and techniques, we can improve our communication. So this is the evaluation of situation of first person. Now what will happen if I evaluate right? I will have right thoughts, I will develop right emotions, and I will take right action. It is interrelated. Okay, it is
Exactly.
interrelated. They are related with each other. Now we'll take the case of second candidate. Now second candidate says he evaluates wrong. What he evaluates? No, I don't know. I can't do it. No, I can't do it. Nobody in my family, nobody speaks English. How can I? Wrong evaluation about oneself.
Right.
About others, they can do it because they are from convent school. Their parents spend a lot of money on their private tuitions also. Wrong evaluation
True.
about others.
Exactly.
Wrong evaluation about situation like, now at this stage no need English. Okay, at this stage no need to learn English. It is okay with Marathi and English. We can survive. So this is what wrong evaluation about me, wrong evaluation about others, wrong
Others.
evaluation about situation. When I
Right.
have wrong evaluation, I develop wrong emotions. Okay. Means that person is actually scared. He is panic and he is nervous also, but that person is not showing it. But these thoughts have generated anxiety, nervousness, and fear in his mind. And when once these emotions are developed, then these emotions will push me toward wrong action. And what is the wrong action? I will not take action.
Not learn.
I will not learn.
Right.
So for learning any skill, this attitude is the base. Once we develop a right attitude, we can do anything in this world.
Very
So
true.
I hope this much is enough. I must
And
give
I
more
think,
time.
Parvesh sir, I would like to add over here, when we talk about the attitude or looking at, like, if a person is told that you're not good at English, the person is not thinking about himself or herself. He or she is comparing and thinking about the others. Others also don't know. So what's the high thing that I should go for it? So that's also a wrong attitude, like normally you think about others, but the thing is, I think the children over here, they need to compete with themselves. Fine, I've been told I'm not good at it. I will take it as a challenge and I'll work on that.
Yeah.
And that positive approach will really help them to do better in life, isn't it, sir?
Yes, yes. And the same is at home also. I'll relate it with the home situation also. There are students actually.
Yes.
There are many students and they have their siblings also.
Mm-hmm.
Sometime what happened, if mother assign a task to a child, if mother says that the elder one, just go to shop and bring some vegetables, then he complains. He says, why only me?
Yes.
Why not? Why don't you tell him to bring the vegetables? Only me.
This happens among the siblings.
Siblings. Now, what we need to teach the children that, beta, because you are mature, you are capable, you can carry money safely, and you bring very good vegetables. Therefore, otherwise I could have sent him also.
Exactly.
And only he will feel proud and he will do it happily.
Very true.
But what happened? We don't put additional information in that.
Yes. Yes.
So this is also the attitude.
I think we as elders also, we need to, encourage and motivate at times children, after all.
We only say one thing. We only say one thing. You are elder, therefore you should go.
So that doesn't work. That
doesn't work actually. Then what he feels that being elder is a punishment, I think.
Being elder or being the youngest one. Both the ways.
So what we need to do, we need to add the realistic features of being elder.
Right.
Because being elder, you are more mature, you are able to carry the money, you are able to bring good quality of vegetables.
Right.
Therefore, so
very true.
This attitude, that kind of attitude, if children they develop, they also feel comfortable, and the parents can also be relaxed from their behavior and all.
Right. I think they also have to be positive. The children have to take up the responsibility. Whatever age you are in, the parents will give you the responsibility accordingly. So the thing is, take up that challenge. Whatever work is given, you need to take it and do it. That's the thing. Isn't it, children?
Generally, we talk about positive and negative. So I'll tell you one thing, because at present I am running a corporate behavior change training program also. So in that we are training company officials for developing right attitude. And in that, this is the very common word which they share, positive and negative. But what do? We reject this term. We said that there is no positive thought, there is no negative thought. Actually, thoughts are only helpful or unhelpful. For example, if I am walking on a road and if there is a dog running behind me, what should I do?
Come on, tell children. Anybody wants to answer? Kaustubh? What will
Can
you
the
do?
question please be repeated?
The question is, if I am walking on a street and there is a dog who is running after me to bite me, what should I do? Should I have positive thinking or negative thinking?
You should not run. You should stop there itself.
We should stop there. But the dog is famous to bite many people earlier.
Difficult situation. Come on, think. Arya, what else can be done?
We will take stone and beat him.
Yes, okay.
We'll take a stick and beat him.
That's good.
We can
So-
throw a rock at him.
Okay, rock on him. Okay. So what I wanted,
We should just scare him, not beat him.
Yes,
we can scare him.
that's being
We
animal
can
lover,
add
huh?
in
Good,
restrictions.
Kaustubh. That
Ma'am,
was
we can
something good. Scare him so that he runs away. Okay.
Yeah. Aradhya is,
Or many dogs just run behind you to eat something in your hand. So we should give him something.
Okay, Priyanshi.
means
Okay.
in all possible manner, you will try to save yourself, isn't it? In all possible manner, you
Very
will
true.
try to save yourself. So to save yourself, what is this? Is it a positive thinking or negative thinking? If you say no, dog will not do anything to me, this is positive thinking, but it will not work in that situation.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Though it is a
Yes.
positive thinking.
Who is that?
Yeah, someone is asking question.
Yeah, somebody was there.
Rudra,
Now I'm getting muted.
Rudransh is asking question.
Yes. Just a second.
Sir,
Yes.
Yes, beta, speak up.
sir, I can't understand. Can you repeat that question? Can I give the answer?
Okay. The question
Okay.
is, if there is a dog running after you to bite you, what will you do in that situation?
I will give him a biscuit and let you know, please be side, and I will go.
Oh.
Means-
Good, Rudransh.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All the students, they answered. So their answer indicates that they are scared of biting the dog. Nobody is saying that no, sir, that the dog will not bite. Nobody says that the dog will not bite. You are
Right.
taking action. You are taking action to be
Yes.
safe from that dog. So it means that
Very true.
you have negative thinking about dog. What do you have? You have negative thinking about dog. So this is not negative thinking. It is called helpful thought.
Very true. Very true.
Thoughts should be divided into two categories: helpful and unhelpful. What is unhelpful? No, the dog will not bite me because dog knows me. So it is positive thinking, but it
It
is
is not
unhelpful.
going to be helpful. Yes.
It is
Can't
not
take the
helpful.
risk.
Okay. But if you say that, oh, dog is coming and definitely dog can bite me, so I should run away from here. Though it is a negative thinking, but it is helpful. Okay.
True.
So this is called helpful thinking and unhelpful thinking.
Very true.
Again, more questions. So I think we should have question answer
Yes.
session.
Yes.
Yeah. Anybody
Uh,
wants to ask any question?
Yes, Kaustubh, you want to ask a question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you,
Yeah,
ma'am,
please.
for good afternoon, sir. Myself, Kaustubh Mukadam. I am from class 10th, and the question from my side was, can you give some tips or tricks about how to set our goals, which would be helpful for us in future? As I am in 10th standard. So from now only, I have to think what I have to do in 11th and 12th and in future.
Okay, goal setting. Generally, we have a complete workshop about goal setting. So first of all, understand what is goal actually. Goal is a dream with deadline. Okay, you know, we have two types of dream. That one dream which has no deadline, you know, the dream which has no deadline, like I will fly in the sky. So
When and how and where, not know.
how and how much time it will take, there is no deadline. Okay, so what is goal? Goal is a dream with deadline. Okay, now how to set the goal? So the goal should be set on some particular parameters, considering some things. First of all, my skills, my strengths. Okay, what are my strengths? I'm good at what particular activities. Okay, and these skills and strengths are required in which particular profession. Which profession requires these skills? Okay, second, does my educational background support me to go in this profession? Second thing, first identify the strength and see the requirement of this strength in which particular profession. Second, does my education support me to go in that profession? And third, scope, how much scope I have in this particular profession. So
Right.
on this basis you can choose your career, but the first of all is your strength, your interest.
Very true.
This is the first step to choose your career. So see, every field has opportunity, every field has a scope. Okay, only one needs to do is to choose according to one's strength and interest. Because you know what happened, if you choose a field which you are not interested and which you don't have skills and strength to survive in that profession, then the
Right.
time comes you get bored and you get fed up of that profession.
Yes.
First step should be your strength and your interest, and then accordingly you can choose your field.
Yes. Ibrahim, any question? Adya? Ibrahim? Okay, fine. I think we'll mail the questions to you, sir.
Definitely.
And the students will get the answers. I'm sure that you'll be answering. We'll have the vote of thanks from Arya. Yes, Arya.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, dear all. It's my privilege to present the vote of thanks on behalf of Universal High School. A sincere thanks to our chairman, Mr. Jesus Lal, our director, Ms. Pinky Pujara, and our dear principal ma'am, Ms. Seema Gupta, for giving us this opportunity to come together and learn from the valuable experiences of Mr. Parvez sir. Thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable
Thank
experiences
you.
and honoring this session by bestowing your inspirational thoughts and taking us through our journey.
Thank you so much.
Parvez sir,
I'm
thank
very
you so
grateful
much.
to have you here with us, sir.
Yeah.
Lastly, I thank to all the teachers and students who are part of this session.
Thank you so much. It was nice listening to your journey. I know this time is very less to listen to your various areas of expertise, and looking forward to meeting you physically in the school when the school reopens up. We will definitely have you over here, and maybe in the future we will have many more sessions with you, and especially for teachers as well as for the students. Thank you so much. Thank you.
so much, ma. Thank you
Thank you, sir.
for inviting me. Thank you, children, for listening
Thank
me
you, sir.
very patiently, and
Thank you, sir.
thank you. All the best.
Thank you. Bye-bye, sir.